Eric Chessen, founder of Autism Fitness, leading the movement for movement. And what we are going to be discussing in this particular very existent Autism Fitness Tuesday training is the band pull down. And even though we're talking about one exercise here, what I also want to convey is there are specific points about the way that we prompt and the way that we cue and the way that we coach different exercises, even though we're focusing on this one. So let's talk a little bit about the band pull down. The band pull down exists and is used in autism fitness programming because we need a way to facilitate a strength, a pull-based strength movement. All right, so that is in a vertical plane. We also have our standing band row, which is more of a horizontal pull. In this case, we have a vertical pull. So the reason for the exercise is derived from the question, how do we facilitate upper body pulling in that vertical plane, meaning up to down, if our athlete cannot yet do either a pull-up, which is the gold standard of upper body pulling exercises, or a lat pull down or any variation like that. And the reason that this type of movement pattern is so important is for upper back strength, for shoulder strength and stability, for grip strength. And this is something that translates to activities of daily living in many ways. So if you're reaching for something in a high cabinet, pulling it down, you want that stability. And there are other ways that it transfers to ADLs as well. So you can think about any pulling movement and even building that the spinal erectors, obviously around the spine. The spinal erectors are key in postural control and the general strength, health, and safety of the upper and mid back. So this is an important movement. How do we get it done if our athlete cannot yet do a pull-up, which is many neurotypical people as well? So one way that we can do this, and the reason that we use the band here, is because the band can be used in just about any scenario as long as you have a post upon which you can loop the band. And remember, that post has to be well overhead and it also has to be secure. We don't want any safety issues here. All right. So I'm going to show you here how I set up with my guy Z this band pull down. And then we're going to get into some prompting and cueing as well. So I have the band in an overhead position here. And Zeke's coming on over. And so thing number one that I want to point out right here is we want the athlete's arms well overhead, because if they are too low, if those hands are set up too low, then it's going to become more of a shoulder and lat exercise here. Not something that we want. These are important details. If you don't think this is important, well, then you have no business doing it, because these are the things that are going to make the exercise actually effective and target the muscles and the movement that we want to target. So we're going to set him up nice and high, and you notice I adjust his hands right at the very end because we want that overhead motion. Otherwise, it's not a pull down. All right. So Zeke is all set up here, and you can see that I am guiding him into that position. All right. So he's doing the pull down, and we want, as always, full range of motion here. We want the arms all the way up and then traveling all the way down. And the reason that I am facilitating this is because otherwise we're going to get less than full range of motion, and that movement is going to be really quick. Now, this comes back to something that we talk about all the time in autism fitness programming. What we are after is a controlled movement through the entire range of motion, and that's where the athlete is going to get the most out of the exercise. So If they're just going really jerky and going really quick through it, which is very common among the autism and neurotypical population, they're not going to get much out of the exercise. So the question is, what are we calling the exercise? What are we saying the exercise is doing versus what's actually happening here? All right. So the arms are all the way up, pulling down. We want that full grip strength there. And you can't see it right now, but I am getting his feet in alignment there, making sure that they are flat and rooted on the ground. That was a pretty good pull. That was also a pretty good pull. But you see here, I am controlling this movement for Zeke so that he can get the absolute most out of it. Now, when we talk about that with respect to, man, I had a lot of beard there. That was only a couple weeks ago. Anyway, when we talk about facilitating an exercise for an athlete, remember that the exercise is a tool. It is something that we use. In order to get the most out of the exercise and for the exercise to be safe for that athlete, we must understand the purpose, the practice, and the application of that exercise. And that is exactly why the Autism Fitness Level 1 certification exists. If you are a professional, if you are a parent or family member who is ready to bring the best possible, most effective, meaningful, actually generalizing to activities of daily living programs to the autism and neurodivergent population that you work with, well, then it is time for you to become an Autism Fitness Certified Pro. The link to do so or to learn more is in the description below. Thank you for watching Autism Fitness Tuesday Training. I'm Eric Chessen, founder of Autism Fitness, leading the movement for movement. Please like, please share, please subscribe. Yes, all three of those. And we are done.